Welcome to the Norman Moore edition of Varsity. I'm Ryan Aber, joined by Justin Harper. Justin, a big week in your zone last week for quarterback debuts.
Yeah, 4 of the 5 quarterbacks playing were making either their varsity debut, well, except for Chad Anderson for Norman. He played some last year, but this is the first time he went out as a starter in a big game like this. But the difference in having a quarterback with experience was just obvious, because Southmore with Kendall Thompson has that, and he goes out and throws 2 touchdowns and runs for 1, leads Southmore to a nice win over a good Edmond Memorial squad. Everyone else sort of had their struggles. Trevor Thompson, who's just a sophomore for Westmore, he did well because Coach Chad Davis put him in a good position to do well. They ran the ball a lot and gave him short, easy passes to complete. Built up his confidence. He ended up having a 56-yard touchdown pass. It was called back for an illegal receiver downfield, but still, he played very well, and that's going to go into next week. That's going to do him a lot of good. It's going to be interesting to see how the other quarterbacks, Brad Valentino at Norman North and Chad Anderson at Norman High, and Vova Razrivan for Bohr, it's going to be interesting to see how they progress this week, because they really need to, because it was kind of hamstringing the offense a little bit on all those cases.
And for Westmore, they get a pretty good test this week. You talked about Kendall Thompson at Southmore. They get to go head-to-head this week. Do we see Westmore's offense continue to evolve, or do they play it a little more toward the Mike Whaley style than the full transition into the Chad Davis style?
Well, it's interesting because I think Chad will have a little more of a decision to make this week than he would have, because Cody Feuerborn, who's just a junior tailback, he was also making his first start, but he was just terrific. I mean, he looked like a Westmore tailback that we've always seen. He used ball control, got the tough yards, and I think Chad will realize that we can run more than maybe we thought. On the other hand, as well as Trevor played, he probably realizes he can bring out some plays that he didn't do against Moore, didn't have to. Now, Southmore is a more aggressive defense than Moore was in this game. They didn't do much blitzing or put a lot of pressure on Trevor. I think that'll change, and the secondary is going to be much faster. So I think they probably will run quite a bit more. I don't think it'll be like Westmore of old. It won't be just 4 passes, but yes, I think they're gonna run more and see what they can do against a good Southmore defense. Second rivalry game in a row for them.
And real quick, talk about Norman North Muskogee. This is a game that's been sort of the teams that could challenge Jinx or Union the last couple of years. Not quite the case this year. These are 2 teams that are maybe at the bottom edge of the top 10, fighting to get back into that upper echelon.
Right, and this game, has a lot of history of being like each team's benchmark game until the playoffs. They got an idea of where they stood during the season. There's been some comebacks and some close games. Muskogee knocks Norman North out of the playoffs a couple years ago, and it's a game that we'll see Muskogee come down looking to know if they stack up with Jinx and Tulsa Union, whereas Norman North, I don't think they're going to use this to measure themselves. I think they're going to see just if they've gotten better from week 1 to week 2. They're not hanging their season on this game.
Well, Justin, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for joining us. And check us out every day at newsok.com/varsity for the best high school coverage anywhere.